In this session, we will be talking about view all, modify all, view all data, and modify all data configurations. And let's see what they do. So for example, if a user has a view all and modify all permission, and these permissions ignore sharing rules and settings. So it allows users more access to records associated with a given object across our Salesforce org. So for example, this view all, modify all can be given on object level. And if a user has view all permission on that object, on their profile or via the permission set, that means they are going to be able to see all the records, even if there's no any sharing rules, and even if the OWD is set to private. Okay, we're going to explore that. View all for a given object doesn't automatically give access to its detail objects. User must have read access granted via sharing to see any associated child records to the parent record. So there is a special rule that is related to master detail relationship here. View all and modify all permissions can be given to profile or permission set for the specific object, okay, for the specific object. And then we have this view all data, modify all data. They don't apply to a specific object. They apply to all the objects. If a user has those access, view all will allow them to see all the records for any object, and modify all data will allow them to edit records for any object. So that is very powerful object. You are not going to be giving that to a particular user. Admins and whoever is configuring Salesforce, they will have that access, but not our agents or end users. So let me go over this scenario. Before we start a scenario, we have a prerequisite, which means we want to make sure there is no other sharing rule that gives extra access, because we want to particularly test how this view all work, right? Or how this modify all work. We want to make sure OWD for account is set to private. So let me go ahead and check that. For account, it is set to private. And then also ensure that the user does not have a view all or modify all access to account object via profile or permission set. We don't have that access for sure. Last but not least, test user's role should be below than the admin role. So we can quickly view that. Our admin user's role is CEO, and test user's role is Western Sales Team, and that meets the requirement. And in this scenario, what we have is we don't have, and our test user is not able to share account records, right? So what happens currently is our test user is able to see this account record. So let's go ahead and undo that. That is because of that manual rule that we configured. So let me remove that manual sharing for this account. And after this is done, we're going to be testing the other view all option. So I'm removing this option and save. And now the access to that record should be removed. Let me switch to all accounts, and yes, it is removed. So again, there's no other sharing rules right now, right? So there's no sharing rule existing, and OWD is set to private. And now what I want to do is I want the test user to be able to see all the account records, okay? All the account records. And one way to do that is, what we can do is we can give that access to the test user's profile. So for example, if I go to my users and click on his profile and then go to object settings, Go to account. And then select view all from here. Edit. It's acting a little slow. Okay. So I'm selecting view all. Okay. And then I'm going to be saving this. And now if I test my test users account, let's do a refresh here. Our test user is again able to see all the account records. That's because this view all configuration, okay? View all. He can edit only his account records, but not others' account records, okay? This view all means the test user can see all the account records that belongs to admin user or any other user, but they cannot edit them. For example, if I try to edit this, then I should be faced with that error message. Okay, error. All right, but I can edit my own account. Okay, so this is the test user's his own account, and he can edit this. Save. Okay. Now, what happens if I give modify all data permission? Okay, let's do that. Right. If I give modify all, it automatically gives the delete access to. And also, if I remove this access, and when you give modify all, it gives all the other except for create. Let's give create access to so that our test user can create records. Now, with this modify all, the test user will be able to see everybody's account records and also to edit everybody's account records. Let's go ahead and save it. And we'll go ahead and test. As a test user, I'm testing this. So let me switch to all accounts. I'm going to pick this record that belongs to our admin, and we will be updating this. Okay, number of employees. All right, this is a validation rule. Accounts with business record type cannot be blank and should have a minimum of 1,000 employee. Okay, and then save this. That was a validation rule error. Okay, so we, as a test user, I was able to successfully edit that. And you could try other records too. They will be able to edit everybody's account records. So in this scenario, what we did was we gave that view all, modify all permission via the profile. And usually this type of access, if you give it on the profile and everybody who is sharing that same profile will have that access. And it's a little bit dangerous, not a little bit, but a lot dangerous to give this access on the user's profile. So what we want to do is we want to give this via a permission set, okay? So we have removed that from profile, and that should remove our user's access to account records. And it is actually removed. Okay. And let's go ahead and create a permission set and give that access via a permission set. Okay, I'm going to quickly create one permission set. I'm going to say modify all counts. Okay, save. And then I'll go to object setting, go to account, edit, and select modify all here. All right, and then save this. And then we will go to assign this to our test user. add assignment, select our test user, click next, and assign. Okay, so let's click done here. And what I want to do is, since this is a powerful and dangerous access, I want to give this access only for 1 day to our user, okay? And then assign this, okay? Expires at this, on this date. Let's go ahead and click refresh here. That should bring access to all the accounts. Okay, it is here. And then also give edit access to these account records and save. Okay, so that's how it works. Just because I'm giving access to accounts, it doesn't mean they can see all the other records. You see, for leads, for example, we do have a lead sharing rule. That's why they are able to see lead records. So if you go to sharing settings, lead OWD is public read only. That's why our user is able to see lead records. But if I go to contacts, for example, and see what kind of contacts the users can see, and he cannot see any contacts. He can only see his own, and he doesn't have any. And he doesn't see contacts that belong to admin user. And in our org, as an admin, there are a lot of contact records that belong to the admin. So it means because we gave that modify all and view all access only to that specific object, that's how they work, okay? They go object by object. Just because you give that access to account, it doesn't mean they're going to be able to see all the other records. They are going to be able to see and edit only account records, okay? That's how it works. And if I go here to check, for example, opportunities and all opportunities, so he's not able to see opportunity records either. Okay. We just completed this demo and we observed how they view all and modify all configuration gives access to this particular account object records. And also let me do some cleanup work here. And I don't want our user to have that permission set assigned to him because that will conflict with other sharing rules. So I'm going to go to this permission set, even though it is going to expire tomorrow. So I still want to remove it now so that the user doesn't see anything, any account record that does not belong to him. Okay, so let's confirm and verify. Okay, that is taken care.